Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to this week's energy forecast. I'm Sarah Louise. I'm an intuitive. I'm a reader of the cosmic weather and I'm here to share with you what's coming up this week. So what energy is going to be around, how the week's going to feel, the tone of the week and how we can best work with the energy of this week. So, my beautiful friends, when I tune in and kind of, channel in and go, okay, how's it feel? What's going on in that cosmic weather? How's it going to affect us? I kind of get this is where it goes. It goes, okay, we're coming out, or we're fully out now of that November harsh kind of radical energy. Last week we had that full moon in that supermoon, full moon in Gemini, and that was like an ending of a cycle. It was the third supermoon in a group, so it was kind of closing a chapter on a door of something. And this week I feel like we continue that kind of energy with some of the planetary movements that are happening. And there's a big emphasis at the moment on kind of closure, endings, karmic cycles coming to an end, and things kind of finishing. And, that super tunes in with the end of a year. So that's great. But it feels like it's not in a dramatic way. It's in this kind of very grounded, very clear, kind of self-assured energy. So like sometimes, especially like with that full moon, sometimes those energies can feel really overwhelming and doors slamming and it's all like a bit chaotic. Well, that full moon wasn't that, and this week isn't that. It's more like, okay, we've come to the end of the road of something and that's okay. Now it's time to turn left. So the energy this week feels pretty grounded. We feel like we are in our center, much stronger than we've ever been. We are definitely moving out of this year so much stronger, so much wiser, different, completely different to as we walked in. Like it's been a monumental, massive, magnificent year for so many. The transformation, the change, the shifting, the shedding has been completely next level. And I feel like, luckily, we're not ending the year on a like, oh my God, I'm freaking broken, like, whoa. Like, hopefully you're finishing this year grounded, solid, knowing your kind of spiritual well-being, daily activities, daily practices. You have an awareness. You might not be completely where you want to be, but you have intentions, you've set a path, you've got your kind of goals, you're living more in alignment with your values, you have self practices now that keep you accountable, grounded, healthy, well. You're more aware of your nervous system and how to self-regulate, because that's what this whole year's been about, right? So if you've taken all those lessons, then fantastic. You're going to be feeling and going, yes, Sarah, yeah, I feel like that, which I pray that many, many of you are, and I'm sure you are. And so we're kind of coming to the end of this year, and it's like, I feel like we're coming to the end with a bit of a breath, It doesn't feel challenging. It doesn't feel overwhelming. We feel more self-assured, knowing who we are, knowing where we want to go, knowing what we have to do, and knowing that there's no rush. In divine time, we're much more hopefully trusting of the universe, and we know that everything comes in cycles and nothing lasts forever. So, I would pray and I would hope that many of us have learned much better how to deal with our self-talk and our fears and our, kind of just that real self-regulation. Yeah. And we've got practices now that support us, because that's, as I say, that's what this year was all about. And as we're coming to the end of the year, I feel like it's just a reflection of that. Yeah, so hopefully you're listening more to your intuition, you're following the signs of the universe, you're surrendering and surrendered more into who you are and, you know, your true self, your authentic self. You're walking much more authentically, much more gently. You've understood that life isn't a race, that it is okay to just put one foot in front of the other, you know, slowly and gently and mindfully, and you will get to where you want to go. Hopefully, you know, if you're not running and tripping up. Yeah. So I feel like this week and the end of the end of the year, we've got that solstice coming up next week. But this week, it's like, it's grounded, it's gentle. There is definitely still that feel of completion, things coming to the end of cycles. And hopefully we have a clearer vision now of 2026, where we want to go, who we want to be, what we want to create, how we want to feel. They're the most important things, yeah? And we have got kind of, as I say, like a clearer vision. We're much more centered in ourselves. Yeah? So the energy of this week is just kind of highlighting more of that and helping us with more of that. So helping us tune into our intuitions, to be aware of the universal signs, to commit to our daily practice, to trust, to surrender. And to remember also what incredible conscious creators we are. And when we get away from all of that noise, because it's been really noisy, and we come back to center like we're able to at the moment, because it's not so, you know, we're not in massive transformational, you know, kind of whirlwinds, we can come back to center and go, okay, I get why I had to go through that, and I understand more of who I am today, and I understand that that's more a little bit of work that I need to do over there, and, you know, much more understanding, clearer clarity, more self-awareness, and not so triggered. You know, hopefully stuff can come up now and you don't trigger into those cycles. It's like, oh, I can feel that. Yeah, what am I going to do with that? Yeah, the old us would be like, oh, trigger, bang, bang, let's go. Yeah, dopamine, numb, blah, 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 blah. And now we're like grounded and centered. We're like, oh. And, you know, if we push and we don't listen to our intuition and we don't follow the universal signs, you know, we trip up pretty quick these days. Yeah. And like funny stories for me, like every week it becomes so clear, and it's so, you know, I had an appointment and I was feeling, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if that feels right. And I pushed past that and I was like, no, just go, you know, and I end up with a black eye. Yeah, just, you know, like not anything dramatic, but just, you know, through an accident of doing something that I kind of felt like I shouldn't be doing. You know, so the universe will really course correct really quickly right now. You know, if I'd listened to myself, I would have just cancelled it and gone, oh, you know what, I don't really have time to go and do that. It doesn't really feel right. Yeah. Or, you know, there's this over there and we get the feeling no, and then we end up going to do it, and, you know, something else. Like we have to listen these days. We have to follow the universal signs. We have to listen to our intuition, because the universe will just slip, slap, slip, slap, slip, slap, just to keep us on the path, right? So we listen, we get grounded, we laugh when, you know, things like that happen. We remember, we don't do it again. Lesson learned, move on. Yeah. The energy feels very clear this week, very crisp. Yeah. So we can breathe easier. We can kind of, you know, just kind of be easier, if that makes sense. I'm sure it will. So enjoy this week. next week, yeah, pretty much next week, we're going into the solstice and that beautiful shift. We're going much more into the kind of holiday season, and it can get a little bit busy. So enjoy this week. Take the moments where you can. Consciously breathe, you know, regulate yourself. Say no where you need to. Look after self. Put self first. Yeah? It's a beautiful week. Yeah, enjoy it. I send you so much love, and yeah, we're nearly there, nearly at the end of 25. It was a massive year, and we all need a little, well done. Yeah, you're amazing. I love you all, and I will see you next week.